James here again, or Jarashut. I've got another video request, this time from MyFairMunster, and he wants to see my top 10 slasher movies. Now this one I don't want to get into the whole Gialli or Giallo versus slasher debate, so I'm going to leave any Italian crossover movies. So no Dario Argento, no Mario Bava, no Sergio Martino. I'm also going to leave out proto-slashers, so that is movies that help spawn or create the genre, but by today's standards they're not really slasher movies, so that would be Psycho, Twisted Nerve, Peeping Tom, so I'm just going to do straight slasher. First up we've got Black Christmas, directed by Bob Clark in 1974, and this is one of the originals. It's kind of an archetypal movie because it's often imitated and used as a blueprint for a lot of movies today. It takes place in a sorority house. The killer's kind of this omnipresent force which is always around. It also uses that Jaws technique where you don't really see the killer very much. And it uses a true-to-life experience we've all probably had, which is obscene phone calls. The killer often rings up the victim in this one. We can all probably relate to that. It's very atmospheric. It's got a lot of POV shots where the camera wanders around as if in the killer's eyes, through corridors and peeking down, watching people. So it's a very, very effective movie. Yeah, the original Black Christmas is a true classic. Next up we have another of the original slashers that we've all seen. John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978. True classic, true masterpiece, and it also gave us Michael Myers, one of horror's biggest icons. We all know the story, Laurie Strode and the babysitter murders, Michael Myers coming home to wreak havoc. What's really impressive about this one is the atmosphere and the visuals. It has really great editing and pacing which builds to all these little climaxes of film. Very atmospheric and creepy. The visuals have a constant blue hue over everything, so it gives it this nightmarish, dreamlike quality, which really complements the killer, Michael Myers, who seems like this supernatural force. As I said, Michael Myers has kind of become an institution in himself. He's got a pale, emotionless face. Kind of sound like Loomis, but yeah, pale, emotionless face. He wears a mask, and I think that's part of the reason why he seems so creepy, because I think horror films use masks as a dehumanizing process. It makes the killer seem like an entity and a force that can't be stopped rather than just some guy running around killing people. So I think that's an important aspect of slasher movies. He has his trademark weapon, the kitchen knife, a trademark look, a trademark movement and walk, so that's also very important in a slasher. So yeah, this is a really effective movie. It's one of the great classics, so yeah, Halloween, great movie. Next up we have Sleepaway Camp from 1983. Very similar to Friday the 13th, it takes place on a campground out in the woods. This one's very cheesy and fun. The slasher elements are done really well. It has a lot of POV shots, very creepy and atmospheric. Also like the setting. It has a really great twist ending, which unfortunately was spoiled for me. Great killer, and just a really great fun slasher movie. So Sleepaway Camp, the original. Next up we have an unknown one, but I was really surprised by this one. I really enjoyed it. I was very impressed by it, and it's Tourist Trap. Again, this is a very early slasher movie. Very creepy and strange. It has a lot of ghost-like mannequins in it, and the killer, again you can see the mask here, very strange, a really weird quality to him. It's just very oddball and bizarre and macabre. I liked the killing, and the most impressive thing for me, as I said, was the atmosphere. I'd seen nothing like it, so I really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen this one, definitely go check it out. This one is my favourite slasher film of all time, and it's The Burning from the early 80s. I just think this is perfection when it comes to slasher elements and techniques. It's just done so well. The killer, who you can see on the front Cropsy, is this horribly disfigured ex-camp worker, and he's coming back to seek revenge. It's very much like Friday the 13th. The setting also takes place on a camp, lots of wooded areas and cabins and counsellors and kids. The gore in this is insane. I loved it. Lots of blood. Yeah, the special effects are just really well done. And also the editing and just the flow of the movie never lets up. It's very unrelenting. That raft scene is really well done, really well directed, and it's got some great set pieces in there, of course, in the mine shaft too at the end, and great characters. Just a really great film, my favourite slasher film, as I said. So yeah, check this one out, The Burning. My Bloody Valentine, the original. I wish I could show you the new special edition, but I've only got this crappy one. What I was really impressed by with this movie was just how different it was. I like the setting most of all. It takes place in kind of a mountainous, isolated, wooded area. Mine shafts, sleepy little town. I also like the killer in this. He wears a miner's getup with a pickaxe, torch on his helm. Very different again. Another important thing, as I mentioned with Halloween, they've got to look distinct, the killer. Really great gore. Again, this one's kind of cut, so you can't really see it, but it's got great stalk and slash elements. Good build up to the kills. Just a really fun time. My Bloody Valentine. Next up we have nearly my favourite horror movie out there, and it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. Tobe Hooper's masterpiece of horror cinema. And what I find really impressive about this one is the filming style it went for. It mimics documentary film in that it's very grainy and amateurish. It's following around these teens which have found their way into this isolated part of Texas. Just on that, the landscape is another important aspect of the movie. It seems very desolate, barren, and like there's nothing else in the world. It starts off calm enough, but it just builds up into this crazed, macabre madness. And the killer in this one, Leatherface, like Michael Myers from Halloween, has kind of become a big icon in the genre. He has his trademark weapon, the chainsaw, trademark look and mask. This movie is just perfect to me. I love the atmosphere. It has a crazed, deranged feel to it. And all the chasing and scenes of terror are just done so well. So I just find it, as I said, the perfect movie. I love the killer, I love the atmosphere, I love the setting and the story, and you just can't beat this movie. So the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Next up we have a very different slasher movie. I guess you could accuse me of this not being a slasher, but I think it is. So it's Maniac by William Lustig. This one follows around a Son of Sam kind of character who's very lower class and poor. He has really dark thoughts and mother issues. He prowls the streets of New York looking for victims, and as I said, it reminded me of Son of Sam because he goes around with a gun most of the time and shoots unsuspecting victims. One of my favourite scenes in a horror movie is where he jumps up on the front of the car when Tom Savini's in there with his girlfriend with the shotgun, goes in the slow-mo and boom, and it just explodes. It's just a great scene. Like Texas Chainsaw, it kind of descends into deepening lunacy and craziness. Really impressive because of the atmosphere. It's really dirty, scuzzy and sweaty, and you just want to take a shower after watching it. It's extremely bloody and gory and depraved, but it's extremely effective at the same time. So I really love this one. There's nothing out there like it, and it's Maniac. Next up is one I don't own and I need to buy, but it's too expensive. I wish we had a release here, but it's Just Before Dawn, Jeff Liebman's classic from the early 80s, I think it is. I saw this one very unsuspecting and just rented out the VHS years ago, and I was just blown away by it. Like Texas Chainsaw, it reminded me of that. It takes place in the countryside. This time it's in a wooded area, like a forest. And the killers are very strange. I won't say what they are because that's kind of left to the end of the movie. I think it's supposed to be a what the fuck kind of moment. But I really like them. The location I really like. Very beautiful, very lush forests and lakes and waterfalls and all that kind of thing. Another impressive thing was the atmosphere again. Just how it follows around the victims and kind of again POV shots from the killer as they're watching. Very effective and creepy, and it's just a really great film, so I need to get it, and if you haven't seen it you need to get it too because it's really great. Just Before Dawn. Next up we have The Prowler, or Rosemary's Killer by Joseph Zito, and he done Friday the 13th Part 4, probably one of the best entries in the series. He's just a really solid slasher director. He really knows his stuff, gets all the techniques right and everything like that. Looks great, great atmosphere. What's really impressive about this one is Tom Savini's special effects are insane. They look just great. Some of his best work, if not his best work. It uses that slasher hallmark where some tragic event in the past is kind of become the impetus for what's happening now and all these murders, kind of revenge killings. So just a really effective, solid, well done slasher movie, and that's why it's in there. So yeah, just great stuff all round. So Rosemary's Killer or The Prowler. Alright, lastly, here's some other fun ones. Friday the 13th, the original. Terror Train, another Jamie Lee Curtis vehicle. Unhinged, a more unknown one, but I really enjoyed this one. Massacre at Central High, this one's really underrated. I think this is a really great film from 1976, so check it out if you can find it. Happy Birthday to Me, a really great slasher. Hell Night, Linda Blair, very cool. Another really good one. Hide and Go Shriek. Chopping Mall, a really fun one. Graduation Day, I actually really like this one. These two are great. Motel Hell and Deranged. If you can find this double pack, get it, because they're both exceptional. Don't Go in the Woods, another really low budget one, but it's just really fun again, and I haven't got much time, so I'm going to have to stop. So thank you for watching, and yeah, cheers.